All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, August 11th. We got an 11-game MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Yes, 11th, 11 games. Maybe that'll bring us some luck. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. In terms of how we did yesterday, kind of a moot point. Yes, it was a slightly red night, but not too bad. We go 3-3, and we had the one push. Andrew McCutchen did not start. Kerry Carpenter comes through in his first at-bat. Then the Guardians, kind of a bad look there. I mean, that score looks a little bit closer than the game was. They get smoked by the White Sox. The Phillies take the win there. That was a good look. Nationals, Giants, first 5 under 4.5. Not so much. Red Sox, Padres over 7.5. It was a good look. A lot of guys on base at first. Not many coming through. Starting to shake, starting to sweat. Ultimately still does come through, thanks to a Xander Bogaerts error, I do believe, as well. And then Rays, Mariners, first 3 under 2.5. So it was really like a ping-pong match yesterday. Good play. Bad play, good play, bad play. Not too much in between. But speaking of some good plays, how about this one? Let's pump in some crowd noise. Ride of the day from Ari here. Had the Blue Jays +1 for plus money now. I jumped on board at, plus 107 here with the ride of the day. I believe he got it plus 125, so shout out to you, Ari. But if you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day or ROTD. Down in the comments. I jump on board with one person's play each and every day and give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you do win, we continue to ride with your plays and you can build a little bit of a streak. And we already kind of showed the tracker here. We have the ride of the day from, days and weeks past here tracked. We started tracking this back in June, if I'm not mistaken. So you get on there and you get a little bit of a streak. If you do lose, you still get the shout out. Unfortunately, though, we got to drop the womp womp on you from the soundboard there. No one wants to shout out a loss, right? So go ahead and get those hashtag ride of the days down in the comments. Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Feeling some good vibes on this Monday. So hopefully that kind of translates into some W's. All right, let's go ahead and jump into game number 1 here. We have Cincinnati taking on the Phillies. On the mound for Cincinnati is going to be Andrew Abbott going up against Taijuan Walker. Walker is a guy that I've been very critical of, right? But he's actually been serviceable and pretty consistent. He's giving you like 5 innings of 2-run baseball, sometimes 3, but definitely serviceable. Andrew Abbott's obviously a very good pitcher. He's having a really good year. 2.34 ERA with a 1.13 whip, an average against of 218. His numbers do kind of suffer at home, which makes a little bit of sense in a ballpark like Great American Ballpark. I do still think that this is a Philadelphia lineup that has the better roster and better ability to score some runs. I'm going to lean towards the Phillies just because we're getting some plus money here, okay? If you're on the Reds today, I get it. I would give you the starting pitching advantage. Also, the Phillies have used a couple of their bullpen arms. Duran went 2 of the last 3. Strahm went 3 straight. So there are some late inning guys that may be missing, so I get that. And Andrew Abbott obviously is very good. Like I mentioned, starting pitching advantage. And this Phillies team does struggle to some degree against lefties. The reason I do end up still siding with the Phillies here is, like I already mentioned, I think they're the better offense still. And throw in the fact that this Reds offense has just been super inconsistent. They're coming off of scoring 14 runs yesterday. Before that, it was 2-2-0-1. I feel like they might have used all their runs up yesterday. That being said, again, I'm giving you both sides of the coin here. The Reds are a team that when they get hot, they get red hot. Didn't even mean to say red hot, but boom, there we go. Red hot, pun intended, I guess. So I get it if you think that, okay, well, the Reds are going to build some offensive momentum. Sure. If the Reds are plus money, I might consider it in this spot, but Phillies at plus money I like. I'm thinking the Reds come back down to earth. That's why I like their team total under today as well. That total's all the way up there, 9.5 in the game. You can get a Reds team total under 4.5 for serviceable odds, right? And all we'd need there is the bullpen not to go out there and absolutely, crap its pants and Taijuan Walker to be able to pitch okay. And I think the Reds could score 4 runs today. Their offense looks good, but not great. Austin Hayes is an interesting one. I've been waiting for this line kind of to bump to where it is, and it's at 2.5 now, and it makes sense. He's been averaging, 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, but this is really, I think, a jump. He's 1 for 7 in his career against Walker. Walker's going to throw the cutter. He has a WOBA that drops down to 258 against the cutter. The splitter is the next pitch. That's a lower pitch for him as well. Those are the top 2 pitches that we're going to see out of Walker. And even if we do get to the sinker, which would be the number 3 pitch, yeah, he's been hitting it well on the season, but not so much as of late. A minus 1.7 runs above average against the splitter last 30 days. So all 3 of those plays are kind of circling the drain. They're seeing which one goes through. But that Austin Hayes one definitely could make some sort of a move here. Yankees taking on the Twins. On the mound for the Yankees is going to be Will Warren. He's going up against Zebby Matthews for the Twins. Zebby Matthews coming off of a decent start against Detroit. 5 innings pitched, just 1 earned, 6 strikeouts. And we have Will Warren coming off of a good start against Texas. 5 innings pitched, 0 earned, 5 strikeouts. He did walk 3 batters. I don't think that that's going to be a massive problem today, but it is worth noting that he has a double-digit walk rate this year, especially on at home. And this is a top 10 team on the road, actually against righties on the road in the last 30 days, which is obviously a smaller sample size. 3rd best team at drawing walks is the Minnesota Twins. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be like the biggest of issues, because there have been plenty of games in which, you know, he has 1 walk. But Will Warren, definitely a guy that can have some control issues, which if you like Minnesota, maybe there's a little nugget there. I'm still going to lean towards the Yankees. I just can't see this Minnesota offense doing anything consistently. And you probably sit there and you're like, Evan, that's crazy. They've scored 6, 9, 9, and then they had the 0-run game, sure, at then 5. But like, for whatever reason, I feel like this team still hasn't totally played like the team that they chose to be at the deadline. I think that this Minnesota squad's going to come to a pretty bad halt at some point because of all the roster moves, and it's still a lineup that has a ton of guys with not too much experience, right? So to me, you're playing the Yankees at home. The Yankees are still looking for sort of a get-right switch. They've lost 7 of their last 10, but they've played Houston, Texas. They played Miami when Miami was red hot. This may be the easiest matchup that this Yankees squad has had in the last, few series. So I'm going to take the Yankees in this spot in terms of a lean. The only thing that's keeping me off of actually throwing down on it would be the fact that we're paying a lot of juice. Like, as much as I just said, I don't trust this Twins team, they're a AAA squad and all that, the Yankees have given us no reason to trust them, right? So it makes it a little bit tougher. Where I do see a potential play would be this under. When we look at both these teams, it's like the offenses are what I'm a little concerned with, right? Minnesota's going to see a ton of fastballs from Will Warren. Okay, well, they're a bottom 10 team against the fastball over the last 30 days, 21st ranked in runs above average. Then Zebby Matthews, he's going to throw the fastball. Yankees, you're not finding a worse team against the fastball right now. Dead last against the fastball. You can even see the meat of their order. There's only a few guys that are even positive. Ben Rice and Ryan McMahon here, who can we even consider a Yankee yet? I guess, yeah, he's been on the team for a couple weeks now. But the meat of that lineup cannot even seem to hit the fastball. By the way, guys, that's our MLB dashboard. GuyBostonSports.com. I'll explain a little bit more in depth how to get access to that later on. But both these squads, struggle. Where I get a little concerned, and we'll go right back to the dashboard here, is the bullpens, right? You take a peek at both these bullpens. Not so great. A lot of pitches been thrown, so sure, that might be the angle to get to an over. But maybe a first 5 under. I don't know if I see either one of these offenses absolutely jumping out there and scoring a boatload of runs. The pitching, yeah, maybe I could be concerned with, but it's the offenses for me that make me lean towards an under. Might as well just plug the dashboard now that we talked about it a couple times there. Over on GuyBostonSports.com, head over to the members area and then the MLB dashboard. Now, I'm logged in, so I already get access to this. If you're not logged in, it's going to say, hey, you need a membership. And we only have this for the remainder of this week, guys. Actually, on Friday, it cuts off the deal that we are offering. If you use code DASH, D-A-S-H, yes, I could spell, you're going to get your first month for $2.99. Yes, less than $3. After that, it's not like we're hitting you with a huge price tag. It's less than $7, $6.99 per month, but you get the first month at $2.99 if you do want to test it out for, I guess, somewhat less risk, but again, it's only $7 for the regular months. What you have here is pitching data. We have pitch mix, so you know how often a pitcher throws that specific pitch. With batting information, batting against specific pitches, we even have it down to the players here in this lineup, just as the day goes on for, when guys are listed in or out of the lineup. We also have bullpen data, which has been one of the best additions to the dashboard. This is probably coming in on maybe a month since we've had this. But one of the best, if not the best addition that we've made to the dashboard here. One thing that is really, really cool, guys, is the fact that this is something that is growing and getting better and more advanced. We still have the legacy version, which is what it started with, a PDF that we post for you guys right here. You can open it up, download it. We still post that, but now this is fully integrated with this site, and it's looking really, really good. So head over, again, GuyBostonSports.com, head over to the members area. I think you just do GuyBostonSports.com/members as well, and go ahead and get yourself the dashboard. Use code DASH, DASH. It's good from now, Monday through Friday. After that, that deal is gone. You get it for $2.99 per month. Been absolutely loving all the feedback on this bad boy, and really do appreciate you guys for checking out. So yeah, go ahead and check it out, GuyBostonSports.com. All right, next up, we have the White Sox taking on the Tigers. The White Sox kicked us in the you-know-whats yesterday. We took the Guardians against them, and the White Sox right away got off to an early lead. I think at one point it was 6-1. It might have been 6-0 at one point. I was watching that and like clawing my eyes out. But today, obviously, a new day, right? We have starting for the White Sox, but he's not the primary pitcher. It's going to be Elvis Peguero. He is pitching, I think, a couple innings. They're thinking, and then Tyler Alexander will be the primary pitcher. No one that I'm all that afraid of. We have Chris Paddock on the other side of things, who, you know, in his first start with this Tigers team, he looked really good against Arizona. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned, 5 strikeouts, no walks. His second start against his old squad, Minnesota, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned, 2 home runs there. I don't think he'll do that again. I do still think the Tigers are probably the side that I'm more comfortable with here, and you're only getting plus 138. This Tigers team is coming off of a series in which they looked okay offensively, which could be the concern. Remember, their offense got a little bit cold for a little bit there, but they scored 6, 4, and 9 runs in a 2-1 series win against the Angels. So I'm going to lean towards the Tigers here, but I'll give the White Sox their credit that their bats are actually looking decent, right? They're the 11th best team against the fastball over the last 30 days. They're middle of the pack in terms of average against righties, 8th in WRC plus. And this is the interesting one. When we come to power numbers, right? ISO, slugging, even hitting the ball in the air, 7th in ISO, 7th in slugging, and ground ball to fly ball rate, 27th, meaning, what is that, 4th in terms of fly ball to ground ball rate. They're putting the ball up there in the air, so I give them credit there. I do think that we have a chance of some weather or rain in this one, but sometimes, again, like, if it's not torrential downpouring and whatnot, sometimes that humidity can help lead towards an over, which a lot of people don't like to give credit. So, yeah, I'm going to lean towards that over 8.5. I think the Tigers can put up a fair share here against both the combo of Peguero and Tyler Alexander, and we could see some runs. Like, this strikes me as a game that, at the very worst, we could see 4-4 that turns to 9 because somebody has to win the damn game, right? So, yeah, over 8.5, but I think the Tigers at minus 138 probably would be what I'm looking at here. I think they have a late game advantage, too, with the bullpens. Forgot to mention, guys, we will be going live today, just discussing the slate, taking some feedback and comments from you guys, and going through some plays, maybe building some community parlays. We'll be doing that right around 5 p.m. Eastern time, so make sure to tune right back here on YouTube for the live show and get in the chat. We go through all the chat, and again, we go through some plays, we break them down on screen, and then we'll add some to a community parlay that we can kind of all sweat together. So see you guys there, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Kansas City taking on Washington. On the mound for Kansas City is going to be Bailey Falter. He's coming off of a rocky start there against Boston, right? 4 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, 7 earned runs, just 1 home run. Yeah, not the best. 2 strikeouts, 2 walks from him, right? He's going up against Cade Cavalli, who has 1 good start. Actually, no, he only made the one. I guess it was 1 good start, right? Was it 0 earned? We could find that pretty damn quickly. Against the Athletics, 4 1/3, 0 earned, 6 strikeouts, okay? I still don't know if I'm kind of all over believing in that or putting too much weight into it, right? With him making 1 appearance as a young pitcher, not exactly going to put too much weight into it. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and get shelled, but it's enough for me to think, okay, Bailey Falter, who had been pitching okay, obviously that was his first Kansas City start. Maybe there's a little bit more pressure against a red-hot team like the Red Sox. I still think that the Royals or the Royals' first 5 could be the spot here, okay? But again, there is an unknown with the Washington pitcher. I kind of want to make that clear. I'm not always the best at looking at prospects and stuff like that. We'll own that one. I kind of look at the Royals' first 5, though, for the reason of the bullpen. Now, I'm not fully sold on, okay, let's only isolate the first 5, because this is a really bad Washington bullpen in general. Now, this time, or at times, I should say, during the season, they've gone up and down and looked better than they are, and I get it, but it's still the dead last-ranked ERA bullpen and the second-to-last-ranked bullpen in terms of whip. The problem is Kansas City, who is at very worst right now, like a middle-of-the-pack bullpen. they've used Estevez, their closer, 2 straight games. Urseg, one of their setup men, 2 straight games. Harvey, I guess their other setup guy, pitched 18 pitches 2 days ago. A lot of guys have pitched either 2 of the last 3 or 2 days, so the bullpen's kind of taxed. But the question is, okay, well, would we still take a taxed bullpen from the Royals over a even healthy, fresh bullpen of the Nationals? Potentially. Where I don't think we even need to worry about the bullpens or the arms or even trusting Bailey Falter would be taking a peek at Kansas City team total over. I could get behind that again. Unless Cavalli's really, really, really great, I don't think he's going to have another 0 earned outing. And if we do get to the bullpen of Washington, I already talked about it. One of the worst bullpens out there. Now, 2 Washington bats that I like the unders with would be, I guess, Nathaniel Lowe and Brady House. Both those guys against lefties have really, really struggled. Bailey Falter's been pretty damn good against righties lately as well. He's also pretty good against lefties being a lefty. And what I like about that is the fact that House is not hitting the fastball very well. So that's really good, right? And then his second pitch, the slider or the sinker, that's where Nathaniel Lowe comes in, and he's not hitting those very well. So 2 potential hits, runs, and RBIs unders that I like there. And I'm honestly think House may be something that I like a little bit more because Bailey Falter throws the fastball like 44+% of the time, and that's the pitch House has been struggling against. But let's be real, a couple of these last few hits, runs, and RBIs, the guy goes deep on me, so could be a risky one here. Milwaukee taking on Pittsburgh. This Brewers team is something else. I literally, watching that game yesterday, I was like, all right, looks like they're going to lose this one. They end up winning it 7-6. So this Brewers team is quite literally the best in baseball right now. No questions asked. Will they remain the best? I guess that's where we shall see, but they've won 9 straight games, and that's just like looking at their last 10 games, right? And I said it yesterday in yesterday's video, if you take and look at a bigger sample size, it's almost like they look even better compared to the rest of the league. They're now 73-44. Going up against the Pirates today, who are not as good. Andrew Heaney's on the bump. He actually has looked pretty good recently, but last time out against Milwaukee, which was just about a month and a half ago, 4 innings pitched, 7 earned. This was in Milwaukee as well. 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, 3 home runs let up. We have Jose Quintana listed as the starting pitcher here for Milwaukee, who I'm not all that thrilled with, but he's going to throw the sinker, and that's not necessarily a pitch that this Pittsburgh team hits all that well. He's going to throw the changeup, same exact thing. So where I go in this one is going to be Brewers, I guess minus the 1, because I don't really love the money line price tag, even though I think that they might be worth that today to some degree. I don't, because their bullpen's pretty fresh and ready to go as well. So decent spot, right? But ultimately, yes, -1, maybe their team total over if you can get a good number there. And I like Andrew Vaughn. We have him with a decent pitch mix rating today. He's going to see a lot of fastballs from Andrew Heaney. He's batting lefties right now really, really well, so could be a nice little look at Andrew Vaughn. I have him listed on the screen here at over 0.5 singles. That's because obviously for him to get a hit is super, super juice. I think it's like -300, but I also don't mind his over, 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. The 2.5 is where I get into some deeper waters. I don't know if I love that. So over 0.5 singles could definitely be what I don't mind, right? I mean, he's had a single in every game of just every game but 1 in his last 10. And then in 2 of those games, he had 2 singles. So could be a decent look there. All right, real quick, before we do move on with the rest of the games, I talked about it yesterday, guys. Underdog's doing a really cool thing. They still have that gimme pick. You get a mystery gimme pick when signing up. You can use the link down in the description as well as the pinned comment, and you're going to get a free square. With that free square, you can add it into any entry you have today, and all it will do is boost that payout, right? If you don't know what Underdog is and you like player props, you should definitely check it out. Again, that link down in the description as well as the pinned comment. What you do is pick 2 or more players, put them into an entry, picking more or less based on their set projection. Like we just said, Andrew Vaughn, more than 0.5 singles, right? And you put a bunch of those into an entry. The more you win, the more you go ahead and get paid out. Go check it out, guys. That link will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. I highly recommend it. Underdog, what I said to you yesterday, still remains true. Hasn't changed in the last 24 hours. Is their interface, whether you're on the phone, the tablet, the computer, super, super easy to figure out what's going on there and get some additional action in on the game. So again, if you like player props, check it out. Link down in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Let's get back to these games. All right, Cards taking on the Rockies. Real quick one from me. It kind of comes down to the fact that I don't think Miles Michaelis should be minus 200 against anybody. If he is going to be, I guess it is the Rockies, but nonetheless, I'm going to lean Rockies and the under in this one. This Rockies lineup, I don't think has been all that bad, you know, in the last month or maybe just a little bit less than the month. Like, they're scoring some runs. They did lose against Arizona, but they scored in 2 of those games 6 and 5 runs. So decent, right? So maybe they do get to Michaelis, maybe the under shot, but like I said, this isn't one that we shopped or dug into too much. I just don't think that there's much value there. So sound the psycho alert alarm, because we do have the Rockies up on the screen, but I can tell you right now, I don't think this is going to be one that we spend too much time on trying to jump through hoops and ladders to get down as a final play. And again, the under is just because I don't necessarily think that, you know, the Cardinals are going to go out there and put up a bunch. They're going up against Chase Dollander, who is coming back from AAA, and on the season, he's actually hasn't had the worst road starts. So yeah, maybe he's going to be all right. He can go to the fastball and cutter, 2 pitches that St. Louis isn't hitting, and St. Louis is not hitting righties right now. So that's kind of why I like the under, because even if the Rockies do play decent baseball, I think this is like a, you know, 5-3, 4-3 type of a game. But again, really want to stress, I don't love it. And I know we'll get the guppies in the comments being like, well, why even talk about it? That's a waste of time. Get to the next pick. We talk about every single game here every single day. It is what it is, right? We like talking about sports. Sue me. All right, next up, Rangers taking on the Diamondbacks. Here we have Nate Eovaldi on the bump going up against Ryan Nelson. I've been a big Ryan Nelson supporter this year, right? Like, I feel like he does not get the credit he deserves in terms of how he has been pitching. He's got a 1.6 ERA over his last 5 starts. If you take out the 5th most recent start there, it was against the Angels, it's even better. He went 1-0-1, 2 earned runs in 6-6, 5 1/3, and 5 2/3. Now, Nate Eovaldi, enough said, right? This guy has a 0.4 ERA over his last 5 starts, and he's gone 6, 7 2/3, 5, 7, and 8 innings pitched, 0-1, 0-1, 0 earned. So Nate Eovaldi, obviously an absolute stud. He's one of my guys right now. Ryan Nelson, weirdly enough, is becoming one of my guys because I feel like he hasn't gotten the attention he deserves. I still do think that this is a spot in which both pitchers can pitch really well, but I'm going to lean Rangers just because Nate Eovaldi is, I think, in another echelon here, an upper echelon compared to Arizona. Now, if you do like Arizona today with Nelson on the mound, I think the pitch mix could make sense. Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte have very good pitch mix ratings in terms of what we have on our numbers. That's the top of the lineup, right? And throw in the fact that you're going to go fastball splitter from Eovaldi, 2 pitches that Arizona's actually hitting pretty damn well right now. So I get it, but to me, bullpen advantage, Rangers. You have, I would say, offensive advantage, Rangers, but you can make an argument there, but then starting pitching advantage. So 2 of the 3 trifecta this Rangers team has. Where I give Ryan Nelson credit is the fact that, you know, we could look at an under. First 5 or first 3. I like the first 5 a little bit more. I will say that, giving us a little bit more time and a little bit of a buffer in case some early runs come in. But you're paying like minus 160, minus 165 for 4.5 runs in the 5 innings. Whereas 2.5 in the first 3, you can get it like minus 135, minus 140 right now. So a little bit of a discount in terms of runs per inning to bust. You know what I mean? So I do like the idea of that first 3. That's probably going to be where we go, but I could convince myself of the Rangers today. Eovaldi is definitely a backable pitcher. He's 5-0, or the team's 5-0 in his last 5 starts. No kidding, though. I read off some of his numbers earlier. He's been absolutely dominant. I just also don't know what we're necessarily going to get out of this Arizona lineup, right? Like, I thought that they had sold at the deadline and they were going to stink. They actually really haven't looked all that terrible. Like, if I read back their last 10 games in terms of runs scored, you'd say, okay, yeah, that's above average. 13, 6, 6, 2, 5, 6, 6, 7, 1, 2. Like, yeah, they've definitely had some games in which they score, but to me, I don't necessarily see that going this way. I think Eovaldi actually really didn't pitch too well against them last time out, but that was either last year or the year before, so not putting too much weight into that. Astros taking on the Red Sox. We just saw this series a while back, and the Red Sox swept the Astros. Now, it was in Boston. Now we're in Houston. Astros coming off of, I think it's like 9 road games in a row. So they're probably happy to be home. They're coming off of beating the Yankees 2-3 in that series. Red Sox losing 2 of 3 to San Diego. We do have Garrett Crochet kind of burying the lead here on the mound for the Red Sox, going up against Christian Javier, who has not started this year. But if we do flashback, he is a decent pitcher, right? Like, I don't want to kind of gloss over that. Even last year in 7 starts, 1.14 whip, an ERA of 3.6. He's a career 1.14 whip guy, I believe, too. So yeah, I don't really want to, again, sit here and act like he's nothing, but Garrett Crochet is definitely the one that has the advantage in this spot. Now, I don't think I agree with the price for the Red Sox. I think this Astros team, you want to build a narrative that, hey, you swept us, now you're in our house, we've been on the road, let's take it to you. I could see that happening, okay? So I don't think I get there with the Red Sox in terms of that they're minus like 165 right now. It makes sense. Crochet, absolute advantage. I know. He has some really good numbers against this Astros squad as well. But where you kind of lose me is the fact that the pitches he throws, the fastball and cutter, right, are pitches that Pena, Altuve, Correa, even, Yandy Diaz, like these guys hit pretty well. So I don't know if it's the best lineup to go up against him. Now, this Astros team doesn't hit lefties well. Again, point back in favor of Crochet. So it's like every time you can try and make a point, there is a counterpoint saying, well, Crochet is just filthy. So that's why we still do stick to the Red Sox. But I'm just telling you, this is a tough one to get to with the price. I like the over kind of because what I just said, right? Like, I do think that even if Crochet gives you like 6 innings of 2 earned, something like that, we could open it up to, maybe this Astros team putting some runs up late in the game, and then throwing the fact that the Red Sox are going up against Christian Javier, who has not pitched this year. They're probably going to go up against a Houston bullpen earlier than normal, and we saw Abreu, King, and Sousa all pitch yesterday, and all have at least gone 2 of the last 3. So we're going to get, probably Ort or Neris, some of these higher ERA arms in the Houston bullpen. So don't mind that over 7.5. We did it yesterday with 2 decent pitchers on the mound, right? And we had to sweat it, but it did come through. So maybe that's a look there. But all that to be said, yeah, you're probably watching this being like, I don't really sense the confidence in that one. No, this is a pretty efficient game in terms of how they've priced it. I would say that. Speaking of narrative, do we remember what happened when the Angels played the Dodgers last? That was in mid-May. The Angels at Dodgers swept them. Now, I do think the Dodgers probably end up winning this series or beating the Angels here, but they're not playing like their best baseball whatsoever. So I don't want to say that it's like that far gone that the Angels could potentially compete here. Their offense has looked pretty good, but to me, Yoshinobu Yamamoto's on the bump here. I think that is an advantage. He's going up against Jose Soriano, who obviously is a very, very good pitcher, but his main pitch is the sinker. And even though this Dodgers lineup is really, really struggling, the pitch that they're hitting right now really, really well is the sinker. So I would say that that's a huge advantage here to the Dodgers. I'd look at them -1, but also take a peek at their team total over. I think that they could put up 5 today. In terms of what they'd need to get to, would be 5, and you'd be getting -120. They've done it in 3 of their last 5, so that's like that's a spot in which I think you can kind of beat around the bush to get to the Dodgers. Because even right now, if you took the Dodgers, money line, it's like -174, which sure, but if you look at them -1, which is kind of what I'm thinking here, -150. That's pretty damn juiced for that -1. That being said, they are the away team. They will get all 9 at bats, so you could definitely make the argument. But I think a strong pitching advantage. I think Yamamoto is in a good spot here. He's coming off of a really good start against the Rays. He had a decent start there against Cincinnati as well. Jose Soriano got hit up by Tampa Bay. So one pitcher's heading in the right direction. One is a little bit of a mixed bag. He was pitching well before Soriano, but maybe he's heading in the wrong direction. All right, Giants taking on the Padres here. We have Logan Webb on the bump. He's going up against Yu Darvish. Logan Webb has seen the Padres twice so far this year. One, he kind of got rocked against them. That was back in April. I wouldn't put too much weight into that. Next, he pitched really, really well. 8 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 0 earned, 6 hits, 0 walks, no home runs, obviously. Yu Darvish is on the side for San Diego, and I don't really think that he's been all that great. He has kind of the one good start. It was against the Mets under his belt this year. I kind of like his pitch mix here against them. That slider should look good. The curve should look good. And I do believe in these San Diego bats a little bit more than I do the Giants bats. So for that reason, I'm going to lean Padres just because of the plus money. You can get Padres now for +124, but I also don't think that they're going to absolutely rock Logan Webb. And it's still a good bullpen. Actually, a good bullpen on both sides. So maybe a full game under as well. But I like the first 3 and first 5 under here. First 3 may be something that I'm a little bit more comfortable with Yu Darvish, just because he doesn't fully seem like himself, and maybe he is just over the hill, right? In a sense, he's come back from injury, and maybe this is the Yu Darvish we have moving forward. But even still, both of these guys I think could do all right one time through the lineup. So yeah, Padres and maybe the first 3 under if I had to weight either the first 5 or first 3, which one I like a little bit more. There are a couple guys that have some decent pitch mix ratings on the side of the Padres that I might consider some overs for. Ryan O'Hearn, as well as Xander Bogaerts, and maybe even Ramon Laureano. So a couple guys that we could consider for some hits, or maybe hits, runs, and RBIs, something like that. But we do have to remember that's the pitch mix rating, meaning they match up well against Logan Webb's pitch mix. Logan Webb's sinker is better than a lot of guys' sinker. His slider's because he's a very good pitcher, you know what I mean? So that's obviously worth keeping in mind, that there is a stud that they are going up against. All right, this one's kind of tough. I mean, it's the Athletics taking on the Rays. The Athletics are definitely the team that's playing the better baseball. They took 2 of 3 against Baltimore, 2 of 3 against whoever they played before Baltimore. Tampa Bay just got swept by Seattle. They did take 2 of 3 against the Angels, and they lost 2 of 3 against the Dodgers. So one team's playing some decent baseball, but I do think they're still fairly similar, right? But the Tampa Bay lineup in bats have just been ice cold. So for that reason, I lean towards the A's. This is a total all the way up there at 9.5. Now, it makes sense. It is this ballpark, right? Which kind of yields more runs being a AAA ballpark. That being said, if we think this is going to be a high-scoring game, wouldn't we just look at the lineup that we think has a better chance of putting up some more runs? That is the A's for me. Ryan Pepiot, Jeffrey Springs, you can make the argument that they're very comparable here, as, you know, Springs has been better at home, and Ryan Pepiot has been a lot better at home as well, which he's on the road today, so they probably come back down to each other's equilibrium. We're going to need a lot of fastballs out of both pitchers. Athletics, top 10 team against fastball right now. Tampa Bay, bottom 5, right? We're going to get a lot of changeups out of both pitchers. Athletics, number 1 team against a changeup. Tampa Bay, bottom 3. So for me, Athletics team total over might be worth looking at, but I don't necessarily, I mean, the price is a pick'em, so it makes sense, but if someone can get plus 105 on Tampa Bay, yeah, maybe it is worth a shot. Like, Ryan Pepiot is no slouch. He could be good against this squad. He has decent numbers against him, giving you pretty much 6 innings and 2 earned against the A's over 3 straight starts dating back to last year. So maybe that's a spot. But like I already mentioned, kind of went back and forth on this one. Maybe Athletics team total over is the safest thing. Then we don't have to worry about them having to win the game. We just have them go out there and hit pretty well. Same thing as last game. I have a couple player prop like leans of leans. Like, they're not even really vetted yet. But Nick Kurtz, Shea Langoliers, Blade, all 3 guys that I'm kind of looking at that I like the idea of them hitting the fastball and the changeup combo. So those could be something that we take a peek at as well. But guys, keep an eye on the final plays like always. That's going to wrap for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Comment 31 if you made it this far into the video. Really appreciate it if you did. That lets me know that you made it this far into the video. And again, reminder, we will be going live right around 5 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure to tune in for that. We'll build some slips and plays and kind of go through any of your plays that you guys want me to review on the stream. So looking forward to it. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.